I think we're live. It says we're live? Okay. It says we're live, so hopefully we're ready to go here. Uh, this is chapter 6 from my book, The Art of Grooming, a philosophical approach to dog grooming. And chapter 6 is about bathing and drying, working with Mother Nature. So here we go. One day, my dog Dexter decided to groom himself. I was horrified at what happened. He found the nastiest patch of grass, possibly a dead animal, and rubbed his neck and chest in it before making doggy snow angels on top of it. When he came prancing back to us, so proud of himself, we all screamed and made sure he stayed off of us. It was horrific. When I finally got him to not smell so offensive after several rinses, he looked so disappointed and upset at me. Baths are unnatural to dogs. We often have to stop them from rubbing themselves on the ground after the bath because they are trying to rescent themselves. They groom themselves by rolling around in grass or rubbing against trees, but in order to live together with us in our homes, they must not stink. The smell usually comes from their ears, feet, or the sanitary areas. Before we actually wash them, we must first clean their ears and sanitary areas. Oh, my favorite dog dad. This is David T. Hey, sexy, right back at you. Anyways, did I get that wink? I'm practicing. What's up, Lee? Good evening. Pinkie Pie, how are you? All right. So here's the next paragraph. Ear plucking is a hot topic among groomers. Some say to pluck the ears, that means pull excessive hair out of the ear canals. Others say not to. From my own research on the subject and my personal experience working with hundreds of dogs over the course of my career, hundreds, literally, maybe even 1,000 by now. It's almost 10 years. Anyways, my opinion is that if the dog's ears are full of hair, we should pluck them out if there is no sign of an infection. Most dogs do not have hair that grows to the point of blocking airflow inside the ears, but certain breeds do. Usually, long-haired breeds. Now, let me just go off script a little bit. There is a doctor, Dr. St. Anji, at the Buckhaven Veterinary Clinic, and here's what he told me. He told me that even if it does look like the ear's infected, even if there is a bunch of gunk in there and ooze or whatever, groomers, we're told not to touch that. Don't touch it. Don't pluck it out, right? But here's what he told me. He told me if the ear is already compromised, right? It's already compromised. It already looks infected. Then why not clear it out and help clean those ears out and give it a better environment to heal itself, right? And that made sense to me, and I was like, wow. And he's an older vet. He even told me he's kind of old school, but and I guess it's a personal thing. And I think it's best to contact your local vet or your client's vet and see what they think before moving forward. If you do see that the ear is really nasty inside, then call the vet first and say, here's what's going on. What do you think? And if the vet says, leave it, don't touch it, that way we can get a good sample of what's going on in there, then let the pet owner know, let your client know, I spoke with your vet and this is what they told me to do, right? If the vet says what Dr. St. Anji said, hey, the ear's already compromised, go ahead and pluck the excessive hair out, all that nasty, that plug of hair, go ahead and get that out and clean it, or don't, and then have them come bring their dog to us, whatever it is. But in my opinion, it really is better to get that hair, the excessive hair that's preventing airflow, to get it out of the ears. And some people might say, oh, but that'll cause infection. It's already compromised. The hair in there is already looking nasty and full. So let's get that plug of hair out of there. That way air can flow through the ear. It has a better, cleaner environment to heal itself. And then follow up with the vet. And that way whatever antibiotics or whatever they prescribe for that dog, it'll actually have a better environment to work and heal the dog's ears. Okay, moving on. When the hair blocks air from flowing through the ear, when the hair blocks air from flowing through, The ear canal gets warm and moist inside. A veterinarian that I used to work for when I started grooming told me that a wet, moist ear canal that is full of hair is a breeding ground for bacteria and ear infections. And that was Dr. Hamrika at the Sugar Hill Animal Hospital told me that. The only time we should not pluck is if the ear is red, swollen, or looks infected. If we pluck an ear that is possibly infected, we open up that fresh skin to the bacteria and or infection. And that I wrote this book before I actually had that conversation with Dr. St. Anji, and Dr. St. Anji kind of disagreed with me. He told me that even if the ear looks red and swollen and infected, he's saying because it's already compromised, he suggests getting that excessive hair out of there. So, but again, it's a hot topic among groomers and veterinarians. Apparently vets can't agree on the topic either. Um, Crystal, is that really the groomer's job to call the vet themselves instead of having the owner call? It may not be, but it's what I would do. I would call the vet. If I knew who the owner, who the vet was, then I would call the vet and say, hey, listen, because I think it's going that extra mile for your client and also showing that you're willing to extend a hand out to the local vets and you're willing to work with the vets. And so I think a lot of times vets have a problem with dog groomers because of our unwillingness to reach out and talk to them and have that open line of communication. And that way we're working together with the vets like as a team. We're doing the hygiene and the aesthetics of the dog, right? We're taking care of everything on the surface of the skin and the hair, but we're also working with the vets for the ears and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's not really the groomer's responsibility to call the vet, Crystal, but it's something that I would do for my clients because I feel like as a client, they are under my protection, right? It's like a client is someone who purchases or hires the services of a professional, of a skilled professional, like a lawyer, and they're under that person's protection, right? And so that's how I define client, what a client is. And because I have clients, I want them to feel like, I will go above and beyond, and I always look to go the extra mile. And I'm more than happy to reach out to their vet and work with their vet with whatever's going on with their dog. My favorite dog dad, this is David T. That makes sense, but it is based on how the vet wants to handle the particular situation, so it could differ from dog to dog. So true to contact the vet first for recommendation. Yeah. And he says, Crystal, I think it is the groomer's job to contact the vet before proceeding because it would protect us from making the wrong move. Yeah. I agree, David. Yeah. And that's the thing, it's like, anyways, I got friends here. But yeah, I think that it's also kind of CEYA, covering your own ass, right? And so rather than just make a decision on our own, especially when it comes to something like an ear infection, because now we're dealing with internal medicine, right? I would feel more safe calling the vet, and then when the owner comes, and then I can explain why I made that decision, right? Okay. Pinkie Pie says, I ask permission from the owner prior to plucking. I also take pictures of the cotton swab and the ear if it looks infected, just for proof that I didn't cause the infection. Nice. That's really good. That's a really good suggestion, Pinkie Pie. All right. Now here we are. Whether we pluck or not, we should always give the ear a good cleaning with an ear cleaner that is made specifically for dogs. Always use cotton balls rather than Q-tips and be gentle as the skin is very sensitive and can become irritated. You can use Q-tips. I've seen people use Q-tips, and I have before as well. But what you'll notice with Q-tips is that if you don't even have to put a lot of pressure, but just even the slightest amount of pressure sometimes will cause that ear canal, the ear to start turn red, that the area where you rubbed. And so for me personally, cotton balls or cotton swabs work the best. And just gently, as far as your fingertip will go in, don't go any further than that. And yeah, but you can use Q-tips if you like. I wrote here, always use cotton balls. I try to stay away from words like that from now on. Always, never. There's a lot of gray area. But if you do use Q-tips, just be aware of the pressure that you're applying, because too much pressure will cause that ear to turn red and the skin to get a little raw, overstimulated. Um, See, so rather than saying always, I should use cotton balls rather than Q-tips when possible, and be gentle as the skin is very sensitive and can become irritated. First, we should discuss water temperature. Cool water is best for their skin. But if it is wintertime and cold out, lukewarm water is acceptable. And also, warm water helps relax, right? And so heat will open up the pores, right, and cause the hair fibers to open. And so warm water is good for shampoo because it opens everything up. Cool water would be best to finish with, to rinse the conditioner off, because cool water is going to cause everything to close back up. So, and also cool water is more healing. Warm water is soothing, cool water is healing. Okay, because their skin is so sensitive, it is best not to use water that is too cold or warm because of the reaction it may cause the skin and the dog to have. I usually test the water on my inner forearm to make sure the temperature and pressure feel right. Using too much pressure can be harmful to their skin because it is like attacking their skin with bombs, and it may strip too many skin cells off the top layer of the skin. And I know sometimes, like when we're de-shedding a dog, we'll use like the jet setting on the spray nozzle, and it's just this really pressurized jet of water. I personally suggest staying away from that because, again, the pressure, their skin is very sensitive. You don't really need that much pressure. It may take a while longer to recover from such an intense attack. If we are to attack their skin, let it be more like swimming in rough waters rather than a tornado or hurricane sweeping through and stripping the oils and skin cells off the surface of their skin. Again, a little off script here, but whether we like it or not, when we wash our dogs and we're scrubbing the shampoo and the conditioner and rinsing them off with the water pressure, water jets, like it or not, on a cellular level, we're attacking their skin. That's how the skin is interpreting what's going on. So that's what I'm saying right here. If we are to attack their skin anyways, let it be more like swimming through rough waters and not a hurricane or like a typhoon going by, because that's how it might feel on their skin. So let's be as gentle as possible is what I'm saying. We recommend not using a jet stream or high pressured spray nozzle. I like to use a shower type spray setting with the amount of pressure I would like when washing my own hair in the shower. Test the water pressure on your inner forearm. This part here, the inside part, because it's more sensitive. Test the water pressure on your inner forearm, and if the water is making a deep indentation on your skin, then you may need to lower the pressure. Remember, it is not the water that washes away the dirty hair and tangles. All of that should have been worked out prior to the bath. The water is to assist the shampoo and to rinse the dog clean. Washing a dog, and also, a little off script, it's not our hands scrubbing and the water pressure that's gonna get the dog clean. It's the contact time that the shampoo has on your dog's skin. So that's why you wanna let the shampoo sit for 5 to 10 minutes, preferably 10 minutes, because the longer it has the contact time, then it's able to make those chemical bonds, right? And bond itself, attach itself to all the grease and dirt and all of that. And so when you're rinsing the shampoo off the dog, that's when the cleaning actually happens. But you need to give the shampoo time to work and create those bonds as chemical bonds and attach itself to the dirt and the oil and all of that. That way, when you're washing the dog, rinsing the dog clean, that's when the cleaning actually happens. So it's not the scrubbing, it's not the water pressure, it's the contact time that the shampoo has. Crystal says the spray nozzle advice is good to know and why. I was taught to use the high pressure sprayer to blast the dirt out of their skin to save time and soap. Yeah, and that's what I was taught as well when I first started. But once I started to learn about the skin and how sensitive their skin is and how the skin interprets and how it reacts to the bath, that's when I realized, oh wow, we're actually causing a lot of cellular damage that we're not going to see till later down the road because it's happening on a cellular level. So we're not even going to see the effects until maybe 2-3 weeks later. And then we got a dog that's scratching and flaking and reacting to what happened a few weeks ago. Okay. Washing a dog is one of the most intimate moments of the groom. It is the part that many people dread, but it is actually the part that we should look forward to the most. This is a perfect time to incorporate our knowledge of touch therapy techniques. We now understand how powerful a touch can be when the intention of love is behind it. We are in a place of love, and the dog will recognize it. They are sensitive to our energy and will understand us when we touch them with gentle, massaging motions in order to bring their bodies to a balanced state. We are balancing their chi, their life force, by massaging pressure points in order to promote inner peace, healing, and well-being, and to strengthen our connection to each other. The moment I begin to massage a dog's head, they immediately understand what my intentions are and who I am by the energy I'm projecting. I could talk their ears off, listing reasons why they should trust me, and it wouldn't mean a thing to them. This is one of the greatest rewards in grooming, is to gain a dog's trust because he is too noble and has too much integrity to sell out. They cannot be sweet-talked or conned. There is no way you will be able to bribe a dog that does not trust you. A dog's trust is to be earned by being genuine and providing calm, assertive leadership. Lee says, I didn't know about the time factor with shampoo. Wish I'd known that when I had my pups. Nice. Well, I'm glad I shared that with you, Lee. David, this is my favorite dog dad. He's actually not my favorite dog dad. That's just the name of his YouTube channel. Well played, David. Well played. I'm kidding. He actually is one of my favorite dog dads. David says, water pressure can damage skin. Air pressure does not, though. So if you want to loosen dirt, use a HV dryer first. A lot safer than the jet setting. Use it before you wet and bathe the dog, and it will loosen safely. Great tip, David. Crystal says, I'm learning a lot more about why doing something I was originally taught is not okay and now know better. Oh my goodness. And Crystal, I'm so glad that you put it that way. You now know better. I almost wanted to quit grooming when I first started learning about the skin and coat, and the guilt that I felt of just shaving dogs down all summer long, using the jet setting to do the de-shed stuff. I was like, oh my God, I did so much damage to so many dogs without even knowing it. I felt horrible, and I felt like such an idiot. I was angry at myself. I was like, why did I not research this? Why did I not look further into this? Why did I just accept what they were telling me? I was so disappointed in myself, and I wanted to quit. But I realized I didn't know better, and now that I know better, I can do better, right? And Pinkie Pie says, bathing is my favorite. There's nothing better than watching a dog fall asleep. Yeah, right? Especially when you're massaging their head and their ears and you're massaging their feet. Sometimes when you go down their body and start massaging their torso, you'll fart. Boop, boop, Sometimes they fart, sometimes they burp. I prefer the burp, a little less stinky. But either way, they're feeling more comfortable, right? And that's the ultimate goal. And so I don't mind if they fart, just not in my face, please. Not when I'm back there, right? Anyways, where was I? Okay. I believe that I have come up with a way to incorporate the concepts of TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, with the bath. I call it an acupressure massage bath. I believe it will give our dogs the ultimate bathing experience that will soothe, relax, and refresh the spirit of both the dog and the groomer. It is because it's an energy transfer. So as we're transferring loving energy and massaging the dog and helping them feel better, it actually transfers to us as well. So we start feeling better. It's incredible. Let's Let's see. Okay. It is important not to scrub or use too much pressure. We do not want to irritate the skin or overstimulate it by rubbing the surface too much while it is wet. The way to massage a dog effectively during the bath is to use your hands and fingertips like another dog's mouth and gently squeeze and release. Like that. Like that. Oh, that felt good. Maybe I should. I was kidding. Okay, it is more of a balancing action rather than a sweeping or scrubbing motion. Most shampoos require at least 5 to 10 minutes before rinsing. We must give the shampoo the proper time to work because it is ultimately the product doing the cleaning and not our hands. During this time is when I believe it would be perfect to give the dog a nice acupressure massage. The difference between acupressure and a massage is that we are applying gentle pressure to the pressure point sites rather than continuous circular motions. Now, neither one is better than the other. You can just give a dog an overall massage in the tub, especially while the shampoo is sitting and you need that contact time. So the shampoo, you have 5 to 10 minutes anyways. So I figure rather than just look at each other for 5 to 10 minutes, let's get to work, right? And give the dog a nice gentle massage. But that's why I suggest reading AccuDog, the Guide to Canine Acupressure, because it gives you diagrams and charts of where all the points are and which pressure points help with certain symptoms. So then instead of just an overall general massage, it's actually a focused massage, and we actually are massaging with the intention, right? With a focused intention, with purpose. Let's see here. Crystal says the HV is good. HV is high velocity. The HV is good for loosening hair and dirt off the dog, especially double-coated breeds, but still better to brush as well to clear the pores out. Exactly. It's really about getting the skin clear, the pores clear. My favorite dog dad says, Crystal, that's why it's so important to have continual education or discussions about everything. Has more than one way to do it, so have to be open to adjustments in your process as you grow. Exactly. And for myself as well, I'm open to new information and I don't mind being wrong. I actually look forward to being wrong because I think that's the spirit of a scientist, right? I was watching this one documentary about Jupiter, and no, it was about Saturn and its rings, and they sent a probe out there, a satellite out there, and the scientist, what really struck me was he was so happy, he was elated, he was so overjoyed to find out that everything that they believed about Saturn was wrong. And he was like, these are the moments scientists live for, to find out everything that we believed is actually wrong, because now we can actually correct those wrong beliefs. I was like, that's amazing. I want to adopt that spirit as well. I want to look forward to being wrong so that I can correct my misbeliefs, right? My error in thinking. Okay. Starting at the head and both ears, we will work our way down the shoulders to the center of the chest. And this is talking about the way I massage a dog in the tub. So starting at the head and both ears, we will work our way down the shoulders to the center of the chest, down the front legs and paws, then down the back and work the body, and finish at the tail, hind legs, and paws, the rear paws. This will help the process flow smoothly and naturally in order to help the dog feel comfortable with the bath and fully relax. This will also ensure that the flow of water will help train the hair to lay naturally in the direction it should grow. Always work with Mother Nature, my mentor Cesar Millan would say. Remember to visualize positive results and breathe through your belly, not your chest. It's called diaphragmatic breathing. We can take full advantage of the lathering process by using the dog shampoo as a massage oil to help us work each acupressure point effectively. After the dog is fully lathered and you've massaged his whole body, follow the same path as you rinse the dog off to provide a hydrotherapy massage in the same direction the acupressure massage was given. A good rule of thumb is to rinse for at least twice as long as it took for you to lather the dog to make sure he is completely rinsed out. Any shampoo left on the skin or coat will have negative effects. It'll irritate the skin. Actually, Go Groomer is another YouTube channel. Her name is Amy Lee, and she's been a certified pet groomer since like the 90s. I'm just kidding. But yeah, she's been a certified dog groomer, professional dog groomer for a long time. But she actually, in her live groom today, she streams live every Monday, 5:30. She even talked about this, how you want to over rinse, rinse more than you think you'd really need, because you really want to get all of the shampoo rinsed out thoroughly. So a good rule of thumb is to rinse for at least twice as long as it took for you to lather the dog up fully. Okay. It is not the actual rubbing or fingers massaging that are doing any healing. Because if that were true, a robot's arm should produce the same results as a human's touch. It is your thoughts and your energy that is emitting off your fingertips. Without the loving intention behind the touch, the massage would be meaningless. Have you ever woken up from sleeping because someone was sitting next to you? Or felt someone behind you before you actually turn around to see who it is? Or sometimes you can just feel someone staring at you from across the room, and you look and boom, they're like, oh, they got caught. Try closing your eyes and have someone put their finger right in front of your forehead, and you'll feel the energy that I'm talking about. Most people usually do not need further convincing on this subject, because there's something inside of us that tells us it's true. We all know that there is something. We can feel energy being emitted from somebody's body. Seriously, have you ever had that feeling where you're sleeping? Have you ever woken up from sleeping because somebody was sitting next to you, right? You just feel something, you feel an energy, and you wake up and someone's sitting right there. Or felt someone behind you, and you don't, like you turn around and boom, there's someone right there. We feel each other. And that's why a robot's arms or robot fingers couldn't produce the same results as a loving human touch. CJ Johnson, what's up, CJ? I didn't know about the water pressure damaging the skin. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. It's some people use water as torture, right? They use that high pressure water to blast people with. So, yeah. And just knowing how sensitive a dog's skin is, I would just be careful with the water pressure. When using shampoo, I always use the gentlest shampoo that is suitable for the situation. It is important to read the labels and the manufacturer's directions on how to use the product. I always read the ingredients to make sure the product is not loaded with too many chemicals. The fewer ingredients I see, the more likely I am to try the product. Now, let me go off script. That's when I wrote the book, that's how I felt. Now I realize that the labels aren't always honest, and they don't have to be, because it's not FDA regulated. There's no regulation on it. So they don't even have to list all the ingredients or the real ingredients and I didn't know that. So you might want to do a little bit further research into the company, see if they're doing things the right way, things like that. But now when I see the back of the bottle and I see all these chemical names and all these ingredients, I feel like at least they're being honest, right? At least they're being honest, and I can Google all the stuff, all the chemical stuff that I can't pronounce. I can at least Google it and see if it's safe, right? And so I these days now I've changed my opinion, and I appreciate it when shampoo companies list all of the chemicals and all the ingredients in their products. Before I used to like the products that said like, naturally derived plant-based shampoo, and then coconut oil, jojoba, and some flowers, and that's it. It's like you see very limited ingredients. It's like, oh, I thought that was really good. Now I realize sometimes those products will dry your hands out and things like that, and it really is it's the wild wild west out there. Seriously, anything goes. They don't even have to list all their ingredients. They don't have to be honest about what's in there. So reading the labels is good, but do a little bit more research into the company, right? And also see how the shampoo feels on your own hands. Does it dry it out? Do you start getting cracks in your fingers? Then probably not a good idea to use it on your dogs. Okay, it is also important to know, what each ingredient does and how the skin will react to it. And with smartphones now, we all have the information we need literally at our fingertips. Everyone is a genius now, and we may as well take advantage of the technology available to us. Dilution ratios are one major thing that many groomers tend to ignore. Many shampoos that are available in gallon sizes or larger are concentrated, and they have a dilution ratio printed on the label, usually 16 to 1 or 32 to 1. And sometimes we have to adjust the dilution ratio depending on the condition of the skin and the coat is in. These companies pay scientists a lot of money to come up with these dilution ratios in order to provide the best results. When we use a shampoo at a stronger concentration level than suggested, or even at full strength, we are causing tremendous damage to the dog's skin, and we will never be able to see how the skin is reacting to the chemical attack on a cellular level. So, I know that sometimes, groomers will use the, concentrated shampoo. It'll say dilute it down 16 to 1 or 32 to 1 or 20 to 1. And that means, like if it says 16 to 1, that's 16 parts shampoo to 1 part water, right? Or 16 parts water to 1 part shampoo. But either way, there's dilution bottles that you can buy. You can go to Sally's, any beauty supply store, and they'll have the dilution bottles with the ratios at the lines on the bottom, so you know how much to fill with shampoo. And really, you just want to fill up the little bit of the bottom of the bottle with shampoo, and then fill the rest up with water. And these companies, like I mentioned in the book, pay scientists a lot of money to come up with these dilution ratios, right? Who are we to say, whatever, and just, use it however we want? And the thing is, the cellular damage that we're causing by this chemical attack on their skin, we won't even see the effects of it till maybe the next grooming appointment, or whenever. So just, my opinion, but if it says 16 to 1, or if the bottle says dilute it 32 to 1, maybe a good idea to dilute it. Pinkie Pie, OMG, yes, there's so many crap luxury shampoo brands out there. Shampoos and the grooming industry is an awesome group. Shampoos and the grooming industry is an awesome group on Facebook to join if anyone's interested. Oh, thank you so much, Pinkie Pie. It's called Shampoos in the Grooming Industry on Facebook. David, my favorite dog, that says, so true. Always better to add more water when lathering than to add more shampoo. Crystal says, I read somewhere that diluting shampoos ahead of time and not use it immediately is not good because if left to sit, it can cause the water to harbor bacteria. Yes. So that's why when I go to self-wash places as well, you'll see the bottles of pre-mixed shampoo, and I always ask them, was that mixed this morning, or how long has that been? Because you don't want to pre-mix, pre-dilute shampoo, and just leave it for days or weeks, because once you mix the concentrated shampoo with water, and you dilute it to 16 to 1 or whatever, you shake it up in that bottle, then you the clock is starting to tick. It now has an expiration date, right? Because when it's concentrated, it has those preservatives, and it's supposed to keep longer. Sometimes when you open a bottle of shampoo, sometimes, actually, I've only seen it happen with the mud shampoos and other like yogurt shampoos. When you open the bottle, sometimes it'll have gone bad already, but it still keeps much longer in the concentrated form. But once you introduce water to it and you dilute it, now it has an expiration date, and you want to use it, that day. I wouldn't even suggest keeping it till the next day. If you have leftover shampoo that you've already mixed and the day's done, just toss it, right? Just pour it down the drain, and then the next day, dilute more shampoo. That's just my opinion. Okay. Moving on. Brushing a dog's teeth is optional, as there are many alternative ways to promote canine oral health. But if you choose to do so, now is a good time while they're in the tub. Now, I remember with one doctor, this one veterinarian who specializes in canine veterinarian care, canine dentistry. is what she specialized in. She made a very good point that it's actually the mechanical act of brushing that's going to give you all the benefits, that breaks up the plaque, the biofilm on their teeth. She's saying that you can use the best toothpaste or oral sprays that you can buy on the market. It's not going to do any good. Just like if all we did was use Listerine or smeared the toothpaste on our teeth and rinsed it off, she's saying it wouldn't really do much. It's the mechanical act of brushing that's actually going to give you all the benefits. So, and that's what I learned after I wrote this book. Okay, so always use toothpaste that is specifically designed for dogs. Dog toothpaste is enzymatic, meaning the enzymes do the cleaning rather than the brushing and scrubbing action. See, that's where I was wrong. So I want to correct that right now. After speaking with that vet, I learned that it's not the enzymatic, toothpaste. It's not the enzymes in the toothpaste. I'm sure it helps, but she's saying that it would be better to not use any toothpaste and just brush the teeth, with the toothbrush. She's saying that would be better than using enzymatic toothpaste and just smearing it on the dog's teeth and not brushing. It's better the other way around. So let me just correct what I wrote here in this book. I didn't know better. Okay, use the toothbrush more as an applicator and simply apply the toothpaste onto the teeth. See, that's wrong. You want to brush, you want to actually do the circular brushing motion to break up the plaque, the biofilm. I like to use beef or poultry flavors so they think it's a treat, and most of the dogs I see gobble it up. And that is true. They were probably thinking, I knew there was a treat involved. Try to get some of the toothpaste on their tongues if they don't fight it, because this is where a lot of the bad breath is coming from. Also, this also gives you a chance to get a good look at their teeth to see if there are any issues that you may want to show the vet. Catching issues early is critical in addressing an issue before it becomes a major problem. In their natural setting, dogs would chew bones and crunch them up to get to the marrow inside. This would clean their teeth naturally and keep them strong. We can mimic nature while eliminating the risk of choking on a piece of bone by giving them safe chew toys and dental treats. By keeping their teeth and gums healthy, you can eliminate many other health issues. Everything is connected, and one thing affects another. And that is very true. The same vet who told me about brushing, the mechanical act of brushing is more important than the toothpaste itself. She was saying that when dogs' teeth get infected and they're starting to fight gingivitis and all sorts of bad stuff in their teeth, that starts to, they swallow that, and they're swallowing all that bacteria. And so now their liver and their kidneys are going to have to work harder. Everything it starts to affect everything else in their body. And she's saying there are a lot of dogs that she's personally worked with that have died because of really serious gum disease. So just keep that in mind. Crystal says, I read somewhere that diluting shampoo... Oh, okay, I already read that. Okay, perfect. So we're caught up on the comments. All right, we're almost done. Once the dog is completely rinsed off, it is time to dry them. Remember to rinse at least twice as long as you lathered. I usually encourage them to shake before drying them, though, because they do such a good job getting the bulk of the water off. One study found that dogs could shake off up to 70% of the water on them with a single full body shake. And they show it in slow motion, and the skin rolls back and forth. But yeah, with one good dog shake, their full body shake, they can shake off up to 70% of the water. I don't move out of the way when they shake because I believe that my body language is more important to a dog than my spoken language. I can tell them the water is okay and having the water sprayed on them is fine. But if I move out of the way or act like I don't like the water being splashed on me, then he will probably be led to think that I'm full of crap. Right? I mean, if I'm spraying water on him and I'm telling him it's okay, but then as soon as he shakes water and it gets on me, I'm like, like it's so horrible. The dog will probably be a little confused, like, hey, wait a minute. Why is it okay for you to spray water on me and you act like I just hit you with holy water and you're the devil or something, So for me, I don't move out of the way. I just like, thank you so much, good shake, and I act like I love it, and I actually do. I get a kick out of it. I'm like, I'm soaking wet with the dog, and I'm getting paid for this. I mean, how much better can it get? Okay. Sometimes certain dogs will not shake the water off, even when encouraged to do so, and that's okay. You never want to force an issue or feel upset in any way. Whether they shake or not, it is a good idea to run your hands over them like a squeegee and wipe the excess water off before using a towel to dry them. This will prevent using more than one towel to dry them or using a damp towel to dry their back half. A properly bathed and dried dog is such a beautiful sight. The coat seems to float and feels like a baby rabbit hair. To achieve this beautifully fluffy look, we must hand dry, meaning gently brushing the coat while blow drying with warm or cool air. Many places still use heated cage dryers to help dry more dogs faster without taking up too much of anybody's time. I understand the need for efficiency. I used to be more critical of groomers who run their shops like assembly lines rather than a salon environment until I opened up my own grooming salon. Now I understand the need for efficiency and profitability, which I will cover in another book, The Business of Grooming, which is still on my to-do list. However, the drying process is where most injuries and fatalities happen. Dogs cannot sweat the way we do and are much more sensitive to heat, and to hot temperatures. They overheat easily and can have a stroke, especially if they do not have much coat to protect them. A full-coated Siberian Husky will be less likely to have a heat stroke in the summer than a pit bull simply because they have more coat to help them cope with the elements. One famous case I read about in California happened while the dog was in the drying cage, and the owner stated seeing bloody claw marks inside the metal cage. We can speed up other things about the groom, but we cannot take shortcuts to proper drying, especially older dogs. We must work with Mother Nature, and nature requires our time. Okay. Pinkie Pie. Let's see here. CJ Johnson, I agree. I always say good boy, good or good girl. LOL. Pauline, awesome. That's what I say too. Good shake. Yeah, right? Good shake. Pinkie Pie, double check your state or province's veterinary association regulations. In my province, it is actually against the law to offer toothbrushing, cleaning, or scaling as a service. Not sure why. Oh, well, I mean, I think toothbrushing is okay, right? But maybe not. Again, like Pinkie Pie said, check with your local laws, your local state laws. Here in Georgia, it's not legal for groomers, for a dog groomer, to offer tooth scaling or teeth cleaning or anything like that. That's for a vet. But we can brush their teeth. That's allowed because we're just using a toothbrush and toothpaste, and just brushing their teeth. So something that an owner can do, we're just offering it during the groom. So we legally, groomers are allowed to brush the teeth, but teeth scaling and teeth cleaning, picking, and all that stuff, that's for the vets. You have to be working under licensed, vet to be able to do those things. Good point, Pinkie Pie. Lee says, never thought of that. I got soaked regularly, but it was because I couldn't get out of the way. Crystal, Pinkie Pie, probably because groomers aren't dentists. Some states say that it's illegal to offer pet massages because groomers aren't trained to do so and can cause health issues if not done properly. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I would check with all of your state laws about this, but again, for me, when I have the dog in the tub and I have to lather the shampoo anyways, right? Rather than just scrub any kind of way, I think it is good to learn some massaging techniques and pressure points, and that way we're lathering the shampoo in and we're doing it purposefully, right? So yeah, I mean, and if somebody busts in while I'm massaging the dog in the tub and say, you're doing something illegal, you're not supposed to be massaging that dog, I'd be like, you got me. All right, whatever, I mean. But here in Georgia, I think it's okay. Let's see. Crystal says, laws are weird like that. Yeah, right? I mean, there's a bunch of weird laws, but, I want to be a law-abiding citizen. I say break the rules, not the laws. You don't want to be a lawbreaker, right? But if there are rules that I don't agree with, then I will break them. But don't break your own rules that you have for yourself. Set high standards for yourself and don't break your own rules for anyone, right? Meaning that if I have a rule that, I'm not going to take advantage of someone just to try to make some more money. That's a rule of mine. If I'm working at a company and they're teaching me tactics and they're teaching me word tracks that I can use to manipulate someone, lead them down a path where they have to say yes or they look bad, and that's how I'm going to get the sale or maximize profits, and this is what they're teaching me and telling me to do, I will break that rule. Say, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't care, because that's my rule that I have for myself, that I'm not going to manipulate people and take advantage of them like that just to make more money. No, and I've gotten in a lot of trouble at car dealerships even. I mean, some of my managers would yell at me, I can't believe you let them leave. I was like, they're an older couple. They're very religious. They go to church every Sunday. They want to pray about this purchase before they actually come back and sign. Before they sign the dotted line, they want to go home and pray about it. I'm going to allow them to do that. I'm not going to sit here and pressure them and not allow them to leave and make them feel like this deal is off the table if they leave. No. We got in a lot of trouble at the car dealerships because I did a lot of stuff that was against their rules, but it wasn't against mine. And so that's why I say be a rule breaker, meaning be willing to break other people's rules, but not your own. Crystal says, sometimes we don't even know if we're breaking one because there's so many of them out there. Yeah, but what do they say? Ignorance to the law is not an excuse, So yeah, it is good to know the laws in your own state, and yeah, if it's not legal for you to brush a dog's teeth, then maybe don't do it, right? And if it's not legal for you to massage a dog, okay, well then, we'll just pretend we're not massaging them while we're lathering the shampoo. Lee says, that's because you're an honorable person. Not everybody would consider me an honorable person, and actually, I'm probably not. I just have these. I've always had these strong beliefs about how we should treat each other, and I've broken my own rules a couple times too. I've been mean to people, and I regret that. But we just do it the best we can, right? And always try to be better than we were. Before, better than we used to be, right? So that was chapter 6. You know what? I emailed all my clients, and I tried to get some of the days where I got double booked, but I forgot to email back CJ Johnson. So I'm going to end this stream, and I got to email CJ Johnson back because I promised I would, and so that's what I'm going to do. And then I got to get home. So Pinkie Pie, so weird. I get why scaling and cleaning is though. Fun fact in Toronto, you can't walk backwards in a parliament building. Nice. I'll keep that in mind if I'm ever in Toronto in a parliament building. Do not walk backwards, right? Do it suspiciously, right? Looking around, all sketchy while I'm taking steps backwards. Oh man. Isn't there a law in one of the states where you're not allowed to put ice cream in your pocket? I have no idea. It's not a good idea to put ice cream in your pocket anyways, but I don't know why they would make that illegal. But anyways. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I love sharing my ideas. I love the fact that people are interested in hearing what I had to say in my book. My favorite dog, Dad, David says, yes, this is the second time you're promising to email that you better get to it. Yes, exactly. So I'm going to email CJ Johnson back. Lee Rowley, you are like my daughter. Ooh. And I'm newly divorced. So, I'm kidding. That was stupid. That was a very inappropriate, stupid joke. I keep telling myself I'm going to stop that. I got to take myself more seriously, take life more seriously. It's not a big joke. Stop joking around, So yeah, sorry about that, Lee. But if your daughter's okay, if your daughter's looking, anyways, let me go ahead and stop fooling around here. Thank you so much for your time. I honor the light in you that's also in me, and namaste.